All right, so today we're going to do a deep dive into auto repair in Edmonton. Specifically, we're looking at Center 101 Auto Repair. And you know how it is, right? Your car starts acting up, and you immediately grab your phone. You frantically Google, like, best mechanic near me, and just pray for a miracle. Because let's be real, finding a trustworthy mechanic can be a nightmare.
Oh, tell me about it. You're always worried about getting ripped off. Or ending up with an even bigger problem than you started with.
Exactly. So that's why we're taking a closer look at Center 101 today. They claim to have the lowest rates in Edmonton, which immediately caught our attention. Plus, their Google reviews are full of happy customers raving about how quickly they get their cars back.
Yeah, that's a pretty impressive combo. Low prices and fast service. That's like the holy grail of auto repair, right?
It does sound almost too good to be true, doesn't it? So to see if they really live up to the hype, we've been digging through their blog posts.
Good idea. What have you found so far?
Well, the first thing that jumps out is their history. They've been operating in Edmonton for over 25 years.
Wow, 25 years. That's a pretty significant track record in a competitive industry like auto repair.
Right. 25 years in Edmonton means they've weathered some serious storms, literally. Think about those scorching summers and those brutal winters we get here.
Oh, yeah, that kind of extreme weather can really take a toll on a car.
For sure. So, to me, that experience really speaks volumes.
Definitely. It suggests they have a deep understanding of the local climate and, the unique challenges it poses to vehicles here in Edmonton.
Exactly. You'd think a mechanic who's been working here for that long has pretty much seen it all, right?
I would say so. They've probably encountered every car problem imaginable.
Okay, so they've got experience on their side. But let's get back to that lowest rates claim.
The million-dollar question.
It is a pretty bold statement, you have to admit.
It is, and we'll definitely dig into that more later. We'll see if their pricing actually matches up with what customers are saying in those reviews.
Yeah, that's crucial. But first, let's take a look at the range of services they offer. Because, a low price doesn't mean much if they can only handle an oil change.
Exactly. You want a mechanic who can handle the big stuff too, right?
For sure. And from what I've seen, Center 101 seems to offer a pretty comprehensive range of services. Everything from routine maintenance like oil changes and tire rotations, to more complex repairs like engine diagnostics and transmission work.
Oh, wow, transmissions. That's one area where I definitely want an expert working on my car.
Me too. Transmissions always seem so mysterious and expensive to fix.
They are complex systems, that's for sure. But it sounds like Center 101 is confident in their ability to handle those kinds of repairs.
Yeah, and they even mention having state-of-the-art equipment on their website.
State-of-the-art equipment. That sounds impressive, but what does it actually mean for the average car owner?
Right. Is it just a fancy marketing term, or does it actually translate to tangible benefits?
That's a great question. I'd say it's more than just shiny new gadgets. Having the right equipment can make a big difference in terms of accurate diagnostics and also, efficient repairs.
So a quicker diagnosis means less time your car's out of commission.
Exactly. And potentially lower repair costs overall.
Okay, so that's definitely a plus. So far, we've got experience, a wide range of services, and they're investing in technology. But what about the most important factor? How do they actually treat their customers?
Yes, the customer experience. That's where those Google reviews become really interesting.
Totally. What are people saying?
Well, it seems like customers are consistently praising Center 101 for their honesty and transparency. And they also highlight the shop's communication, saying they felt listened to and respected.
That's great to hear, especially because, let's be honest, we've all heard those horror stories about mechanics talking down to customers or pushing unnecessary repairs.
Oh, yeah, for sure. It definitely sounds like Center 101 is trying to break that mold.
I hope so. That's a big deal for me. But okay, get this. We also found something totally unexpected on their blog.
Oh, what's that?
They have a whole post dedicated to road trip ideas from Edmonton.
Wait, what? Road trip ideas from an auto repair shop? That's not something you see every day.
I know, right? It totally caught me off guard.
It makes you wonder, what's the thinking behind that?
Well, to me, it shows that they're not just focused on fixing cars. They actually want their customers to, enjoy their vehicles and get out there and explore.
I like that. It's like they're saying, we'll take care of your car so you can focus on the adventure.
Exactly. And it plays into that whole idea of getting people back on the road quickly, which seems to be a recurring theme in their messaging.
It does. It's like they're not just fixing your car, they're enabling your freedom.
I love that. It really humanizes the whole experience.
It does. And it suggests they see their customers as, more than just wallets on wheels.
For sure. All right, so we've touched on their experience, the range of services, their focus on customer satisfaction, and even their unexpected road trip enthusiasm. And we haven't really addressed the elephant in the room yet.
You mean that lowest rates claim?
Exactly. How does that factor into everything else we've talked about?
That's the big question, isn't it? How do those low rates affect the quality, the speed, the overall customer experience? Well, I guess we'll have to shift gears and dive into that next.
Let's do it.
So, about those lowest rates. Yeah, it's a catchy slogan for sure, but we gotta look beyond the surface, you know? What does lowest really even mean here?
Right, like are we talking lowest for every single service? Or are there like hidden catches somewhere? And how does that price even compare to the actual quality of the work? Like are they using top-notch parts or are they cutting corners to keep those prices low?
You hit the nail on the head. It's all about balance, right? I mean,
Right.
a lower shop rate is tempting, no doubt. But what if they're skimping on quality to make that happen? You might save a few bucks up front, but then end up paying way more later on.
Yeah, that makes sense. Like imagine getting a super cheap oil change, but then the mechanic uses like the cheapest oil possible and it doesn't protect your engine.
Oof, yeah, that could lead to some serious problems down the road.
Exactly. So how can we even tell if these lowest rates actually mean good value? I mean, those Google reviews seem pretty positive, but are those enough to go on?
They're a good starting point for sure. Customer reviews give you that firsthand perspective, you know, like what's it actually like to be a customer at Center 101?
Right, makes sense.
So if we dig into those reviews a bit deeper, we can get a better sense of how their pricing matches up with the whole experience.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. But what exactly should we be looking for? Just like people saying, oh, the prices were great.
Not just that. Look for patterns, you know? Like, do people mention feeling pressured into unnecessary repairs? Or do they consistently talk about the shop's honesty and transparency when it comes to costs?
Ah, okay, so it's about seeing if they actually walk the walk.
Yeah.
Not just talks the talk, right?
Exactly.
Okay, so we're looking for honesty, transparency, and what else?
To pay attention to the details. Do people mention, like, the mechanic taking the time to explain things clearly? Especially when it comes to, like, breaking down the costs. You know, labor, parts, any extra services.
Right, because it's not just about the final price. It's about feeling like you understand what you're paying for
Right.
and that you're not being taken advantage of.
Exactly. That sense of trust is so important when you're choosing a mechanic.
Totally. I mean, you're basically putting your car and your safety in their hands.
That's a big responsibility.
You know what's interesting? Center 101 really emphasizes getting people back on the road quickly. I wonder if that's connected to their pricing strategy.
Oh, that's a really good point. It makes you think maybe their focus on speed and efficiency helps them keep those rates lower.
Right. Like maybe they've streamlined their processes to minimize downtime, which would save time and money for both them and the customer.
Makes sense. And that also ties into their investment in all that state-of-the-art equipment.
Oh, yeah, you're right. We talked about how that technology can lead to faster diagnostics.
Right, which then speeds up the whole repair process.
Okay, so we've got this idea that efficiency might be a key factor in their pricing.
Seems plausible.
But what about their 25 years of experience in Edmonton? How does that fit into the equation?
Well, experience is valuable in any field, but especially in auto repair, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Like a mechanic who's been working in Edmonton for that long, they've probably seen every possible car problem under the sun.
Right, they've probably fixed it all.
Yeah, and they've probably developed like really efficient techniques for diagnosing and repairing vehicles.
It's like practice makes perfect, right?
Exactly. The more experience a mechanic has, the faster and more efficient they become, which could translate to lower labor costs.
Oh, interesting. So experience could actually lead to lower prices for the customer.
Yeah, potentially. And let's not forget that local knowledge we talked about.
Yeah, that's important.
A mechanic who really understands Edmonton's climate and driving conditions, they can anticipate potential problems and fix them before they even become major issues.
That kind of foresight can definitely save time and money in the long run.
Absolutely.
So it seems like those lowest rates aren't just about cutting costs or sacrificing quality. It could be a combination of their experience, their technology, and their focus on efficiency.
Exactly. It's about finding that sweet spot where affordability, quality, and speed all come together.
Right. And based on those Google reviews, it seems like Center 101 might actually be hitting that sweet spot.
They seem to be doing something right.
They do. But wait, we haven't talked about those road trip recommendations yet. Like,
Yeah.
How does that random content fit into all of this?
It might seem a bit out of left field, but I think it says something about their overall philosophy, you know?
Okay, I'm curious. Tell me more.
It's like they're not just interested in getting your car fixed and sending you on your way. They want you to actually enjoy your car. to feel confident and excited about hitting the road.
I like that.
It's almost like they're saying, hey, we're not just mechanics, we're car enthusiasts too.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
Like, we get the joy of driving, and we want you to experience that too.
And that joy of driving comes from knowing your car is in good hands.
Exactly. It's about building trust, fostering a sense of community, and reminding people that owning a car can be fun, not just a chore.
It's like they're adding that human touch to the whole experience.
Absolutely. Okay, so we've talked about their pricing, the role of experience and technology, and even their unexpected love of road trips.
It's been quite a journey.
It has. But before we wrap up, let's zoom out for a second. What does all of this mean for you, the listener? You're a car owner in Edmonton, you need a repair. What now?
Okay, so we've done a pretty thorough deep dive on Center 101 Auto Repair. We've looked at their claim of having the lowest shop rates in Edmonton, their emphasis on getting customers back on the road quickly, and all those positive reviews they've racked up.
Yeah, it's amazing how much information is out there now for car owners, right? It's not like the old days when you just had to rely on word of mouth.
Oh yeah, you'd be stuck flipping through the yellow pages hoping for the best. Or asking that one friend who kind of knows about cars.
Exactly. But now you've got online reviews, blog posts, social media. It's a whole different ballgame.
It can be overwhelming, but it also gives you more power as a consumer. You can actually do your research and make an informed decision.
Exactly. You're not just at the mercy of whoever happens to be closest to your house.
Right. So let's bring it back to our listener in Edmonton. Imagine you need a car repair. You're staring at your computer screen, totally lost in a sea of options. What are the key takeaways from our deep dive into Center 101?
Well, first of all, their longevity in Edmonton is a big plus. Over 25 years in a city known for its, let's say, interesting weather. That tells you they've got the experience to handle pretty much anything.
Yeah, they've definitely earned their stripes, weathering those crazy winters and scorching summers.
Right, and then there's the wide range of services they offer. From basic maintenance to those more complex repairs, it's like a one-stop shop for all your car needs.
And don't forget those glowing Google reviews, people praising their honesty, their transparency, and how quickly they get the job done.
Yeah, that's definitely reassuring. But it's important to remember that everyone has different priorities, right?
Totally.
Some people might be laser-focused on the lowest price, while others might prioritize a mechanic who specializes in their specific car model.
That's a great point. There's no one-size-fits-all answer when it comes to choosing a mechanic.
Exactly. It's about finding the right fit for your individual needs.
So for our listeners out there, think about what's most important to you. Is it price, speed, expertise, location? Once you know your non-negotiables, it'll be much easier to narrow down your options.
And remember, you don't have to go through this process alone. Talk to your friends, family, colleagues. See if they have any recommendations.
Yeah, word of mouth is still super valuable, even in the age of online reviews.
Absolutely. So do your research, trust your gut, and don't be afraid to ask questions.
And at the end of the day, you want to find a mechanic who makes you feel comfortable and confident, someone who you trust to take good care of your car.
Exactly. So you can get back behind the wheel and enjoy the ride.
And on that note, we'll wrap up our deep dive into Center 101 Auto Repair. We hope this has given you some food for thought and maybe even helped you on your quest for the perfect mechanic in Edmonton.
Happy driving, everyone.